Hey guys,
Hey.
this is another episode of Living Beyond Limits. Yeah. So welcome to Living Beyond Limits, where we wind down
And level up
together. So today, I just wanted to take the time. First, I gotta give you your props because you have been going through a whole new journey of being a mom.
Yes, I am a mama.
And I'm so proud of you.
Yes.
You know that we often talk about what our futures are gonna look like, the type of people we want to be, and I know with our disabilities, it's just it's hard to envision it, you know. And so to see you do so many big things in this transition of time, I just want to remind you of that. You're doing so good.
I want to make me cry. We just started.
So good.
Thank
And I'm
you.
just so happy for you. But, I just wanted to take the time to talk about it because I know that it is, well, it feels like one in a million. So I know that so many, I want to know, but so many people want to know what your life has been like, how you've been feeling, what's been going on. So, I guess you could just start talking about how's it feel to be a mom? Talk about JoJo.
My JoJo, and I'm trying not to cry.
Yeah.
She's with her Jima.
Yeah.
So my precious Jolene Eliana was born October 28th of last year. I know that surprises a lot of you.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of kept it a secret. But thank God she was born healthy.
Yeah.
She was born strong.
Yeah.
I had her through a C-section, which was pretty scary for me.
Yeah.
I've had surgeries in the past, but this surgery felt so much different, because I felt like, oh my God, I'm bringing a life into the world, And I remember that morning waking up and just it was so early, we had to get to the hospital at 6 a.m., right? And I woke up at 5 and I couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend was just leaping away, like he usually does. And I was like, all right, let me take this time to pray. And I had, thank God, just for getting me this far, because thank God I didn't have any huge complications during pregnancy, and that in itself is a miracle.
Yeah.
Because of my cerebral palsy, anything could have happened.
No, for sure.
One slip, one fall, God forbid, anything could have happened. So I thank God that He kept me safe.
Of course.
And then He just kept my body strong. He gave me the ability to do it, and I still am baffled by it. Seeing my body then and now, to know that I was able to carry life, and sustain life for almost 10 months. Was amazing. So she was born, and at first the C-section is insane. I think just with disability, without disability, it is hard.
It's a big deal.
It is hard on the body. I felt pain before, but this pain,
different.
Very different. Very different.
I can see it in you, the aftermath, but even prior to the C-section, I was just I wonder what she's feeling, because I know that naturally, as anybody, we power through a lot of different things, so a lot of it is not shown, and I would often look at you and be like, she's making it look not necessarily easy, but she's fine, but I'm internally I'm is she scared, or what's going on?
I mean, we could talk about that before she was born. I was terrified when we found out we were pregnant. I was in Rochester, so I wasn't even here with family or friends. I mean, we were with our friend upstate. But it was terrifying because the question is what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? We love each other, but we were planning a baby, So it just that normal terrifying. That normal. I called the doctor right away. And I was like, so I think I'm pregnant, and I need to see you right away. And she was like, well, we usually wait till X amount of weeks. And a lot of people on here don't know, but I had a miscarriage a year and some change ago. So I was terrified, and I was like, no. I need to see you. You need to make an exception. And thank God they know me there. So they were like, okay, come in, But just that normal being terrified to begin with, it was scary. And then, I think in the very beginning, I would sit up in bed and I would wonder, God, could I really do this? I was terrified of, how my body would change. First of all, I was already a little overweight at the time. Like I wasn't really taking care of myself. So I would tell anybody who is planning a pregnancy, disability or not, like make sure you take care of yourself because it takes such a toll on your body. And I remember praying like, God, have mercy, because like I'm not, my body wasn't ready to have a baby in my opinion, you know. And I was like, I need to get through this, so please give me the strength. And he did. I really felt okay. Like, I mean, the normal tired, you know, the normal nausea. I know you didn't know for a while. How did you feel about that?
I was very shocked, guys. Very shocked. So I spent a lot of time with Charlene, like a lot of time, especially when we started working together on Living Beyond Limits. And I remember, like, even the first time you got pregnant, like, you kept saying, like, oh, I'm just not feeling that great. Or, like, we would have, like, game nights and stuff. And she's like, I'm not drinking. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not drinking. And then you told me. And then this time around, it was different because we were, like, months in. And I was seeing you, like, every week. I've been in your house. I've stayed there. And you were just like, no, I'm okay. Like, no, I'm okay. And then you just kept telling me, I'm going to the doctor. I'm going to the doctor. I'm like, why are you going to the doctor so much? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then it would just be like, you'll just say small things. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not going to pry. But, like, when you told me you were pregnant, I was like, I had to read the text, like, 3 times. And I was in the middle of my work day. And I saw it pop up. And I was like, that looks like a sonogram. But I can't interrupt the session. So I'm just going to act normal. And then I'm going to look at it later. And I remember seeing it, and the first person that, like, I saw was Nana, and I was like, she's pregnant. She's pregnant. I think it's, like, really happening. And then she was like, you gotta call her. So I called you, and you were like, yeah, she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wanted to tell you, but, like, I had to keep it. And I was like, how did you do that? Like, how did you not, you know? She didn't, no smile, no nothing. There was no, like, little hints or anything. I did not know a thing. I'd be teasing her about it sometimes, you know? I'd be like, how did you do that? But I completely understand why. Like, I think it's a very vulnerable moment. So it's important to, like, keep things protected.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, just to give clarity to the new, you know, YouTube. So because I had a miscarriage in 2023. That till today, that it's hard, you know.
I know that was really big.
And I just needed to make sure I was okay. Physically. And I needed to, like, kind of protect myself emotionally. Because when you tell people, sometimes you'll get a good response. Sometimes you'll get a worried response. Sometimes you'll get a judgmental response. A critical response. And I just couldn't hold any of it. Even the good ones. I needed me and Matthew, my boyfriend, and God to just sit in it and get direction on what I should do. And then I was terrified. Because I was so grateful that the days were going on and she was getting bigger and healthier. But, like, then the reality hit, like, oh my gosh, she's getting bigger. Oh my gosh, she's healthy. Oh my gosh, she has 5 fingers and 5 toes, and this is really happening. And I had to process it myself. So even to today, people are a little maybe frustrated with me or disappointed because I didn't tell them till we were 5 months. And some people didn't find out until recently. I posted on Mother's Day.
You did.
But it's just something I needed God's wisdom. I needed to protect myself and my daughter and my partner, you know. So this is why I didn't tell, you know.
I don't think, I was definitely, like, not upset. At the time, I didn't understand why you waited so long. But I have family members who, like, had tough times going through pregnancy and stuff. So when it finally happened, they protected it for a long time. So I think even my aunt, she, like, never really left her house until the baby was born. And then she came out and everybody was like, oh, you had a baby. So I understand. And so I don't criticize you for it. Like, you know, like, I know it was coming from a very deep place. And, like, with me and you, as our friendship grows, like, we share a lot of deep connections in that way. And I didn't see it anyway. I think sometimes people, like, some people have asked me, like, you know, did you feel like you should have been told earlier because you were different, like you have a different connection with her? I was like, no, like, I'm not upset with her. Like, I understand why she did it because I've gotten to see such vulnerable moments with you. You've been through a lot in the past, like, 2 to 3 years, And so, no, but Jolene is here now, and it's very, very exciting to, like, also see that, too, like, after the hospital, like, the day-to-day and everything. But I know that you've also experienced, like, frustrations at the same time, too, with having to go through that. And, like, what do you think is, like, your, like, biggest challenge right now with JoJo being here? And
I think there's a number of challenges. I mean, but I think the biggest challenge is believing in myself. Believing in myself. Because I have, and I think I'm doing a good job, right?
Yeah.
But I think I have internal questions and internal, like, are you doing enough? Are you doing that right? Are you doing that right? Are you doing that right? And then I have external questions. And even the people in my life that love me and believe that I can do it 1,000,000%. They are still worried. And sometimes I see that worry. And sometimes they project that worry and they project that criticism on me. And maybe it's not intentional, but it just comes out. But I don't think they understand the gravity of that. Right? Because every day it's a conversation between me and God to release that criticism to myself. Right? Especially when her dad has to, like, leave for the weekend to work and you're not there, right? And it's me and her. Those are the moments where I'm like, okay, girl, we're gonna do this, but can I really do this? You know? And then you get the outside criticism, and then I think that is the hardest for me. I thought the hardest would be to figure out things. How will I transfer her from her crib to her stroller? But those are not the hardest moments. Those are not the hardest moments.
And I'm starting to realize that now it's a lot of the emotional part, a lot of the internal things. Because I even know for myself, like, as your friend, like, I'm anxious for you, you know? But, like, I talk to my therapist a lot about it, and, like, one thing she says is, like, you need to be careful on how you portray your anxiousness on her, because she's already feeling the anxiousness already. And so you need to make sure that use your energy to bring her comfort. And I feel like that's at least what I try to do.
And I do feel it.
But I understand, like, why people can get worried. But for one thing, I think I get a sense of relief when I see you, like, go through a challenge, and then it's like, okay, like, she takes her steps. Like, you see the struggle, but it's like, I give it to God. And every time, that's, like, the number one thing you tell me all the time. Give it to God, give it to God. And the fact that you respond that way every single time, I'm like, her faith is so strong. Because I don't automatically feel that way all the time. I feel like I need to explode first or cry first. And you're just like, give it to God. And I think seeing that for me is like, you know, like, she will be okay because she trusts in herself. I feel like you do have confidence in yourself. It may not feel like that to you, but I'm just watching you, I feel like you do. And I feel like it has really grown you in a lot of ways. But it's really teaching me, like, you just have to have a little bit of faith and you'll be okay. Instead of like, oh, this is chaotic, I'm scared. But no, Charlene, like, you're doing it. You're doing the thing. And the fact that you just always say, give it to God. So at times I'm like, how did she? I'm confused. Like, what do you mean? Like,
Yeah, I think, you know, so I have this corner in my house where there's this really nice recliner. Like, maybe we need a part two, because there are things that I bought that I know they were God directed. Because there are things that, like, really help me.
I learned take care so of much. Like, how do you find these things?
So I bought
Amazon is her best friend.
Yes. I bought a recliner that goes all the way back into like a bed recliner. And I sleep there because I can't be away from her yet overnight. But it also helps me, like, stand up, which we could talk about but the point is, I sit there and a lot of times I feel like in my worry, because you see me cry, there are times where, like, I feel the feeling that I get worried, I get anxious. Like, her first fever was like only a day, but to me that day felt like a year. I felt like, God, what did I do wrong? Like, why is she sick? She can't talk to me. How am I gonna, you know, all the normal feelings that like people without disability, mothers without disabilities felt.
Yeah.
I felt that. And I think that God is slowly showing me to, like, in order to, like, have faith in me and to hear and to get the confidence that I'm putting in you, you need to slow down and you need to listen. And when I listen, God says, the feelings don't bother me. Your anxiety, your worry, your fear, your anger, whatever it is, but I don't want you to get lost in it. So he says, I give you moments to feel them. You see me crying. You came out yesterday and was like, what's wrong? You know, and I was like, I just needed a moment. But he was like, once you feel it, then you have to move through it.
Yes.
And I think that's what I do. I feel it. I am human like anyone else. Right? I feel it. I get angry. I get upset. I get worried. I get anxious. I feel it. But I don't stay there. That's why I feel it. And then I give it to God.
I believe that. Because in moving through, I think you learn your lessons. And I see that through you. Things that you learn.
One of the biggest, it's a small thing, but for me, having a disability. So when she came home, first of all, when the day they released us from the hospital,
I know you were feeling some type of way.
First of all,
I saw your face.
Let's talk about like a C-section and bonding with your child. So I still feel some type of guilt because after the C-section, I didn't get to hold her right away because she was going through a C-section, so they had to check her breathing. Because when a baby's going through C-section, they're not able to pass certain things through their lungs to come out. So they took her right away, and that devastated me already. And of course, my boyfriend went with him to see her right away, and my mom went to see her right away, but I didn't get that right away. Until today, that hurts me. Which it happens, but if it comes again. We planned differently, but so they gave her to me. I still can't remember that moment I held her the first time because I was so out of it.
From the anesthesia and everything.
So the couple of days after, I was so in love with her, but I didn't feel like I felt like something was missing. If that, so that I said, God, I can't. How are you gonna let me leave this child? This hospital with child, and I feel like I'm missing, missing like something. And I heard God say, just trust me, right? So then, I stayed in the hospital a few days, had a little complications, but thank God, like the swelling wasn't going down, things like that. But thank God things are getting better. They finally released me. And the day me and Matthew was sitting in that room, and they were like, okay, call your brother-in-law, tell him to come get you, and you can go home. And I was like, they're going to let us go home. They're going to let us take this little, they're going to trust us.
I feel like all parents go through that, though.
It was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Because the help you get in the hospital, it's like, okay, I have help, so it's like, okay. But then it's like, oh, no, you're on your own.
It was terrifying.
I know.
It was terrifying. And then she comes home, and we have this bassinet, this rolling bassinet, which is anybody with disability who's becoming a mom, I would say by that, a rolling bassinet. But from birth, from day one of being home until about 4 months, that's what we used. And then she got too big. So my boyfriend was like, okay, now we have this playpen, this really nice playpen. That has a part where you could lay her higher. He was like, all right, we're just going to switch over to this. To him, it was nothing. But to me, I was like, but 4 months, I figured it out. Now you're going to get, this is the struggle I had.
The new challenges.
The new challenges, because with a child, I feel like you get used to something, and then something else happens. That's been a struggle for me. Because I get so, like, comfortable and like, okay, I got it. And then when I finally get it, I gotta switch to something else.
And your baby's growing like
she's
like
so
weeds.
big.
Like she grows like tall. 2 seconds. Like every 2 seconds.
She gonna be tall.
I can stay with Charlene for a week and leave for 2 days, and in 2 days it's like she a whole different person. I'm like, the breast milk is the breast milk, guys.
But I feel, like I think just in life we get very comfortable where we are, and that's always been my struggle. And God is always like, okay, I want to move you to the next. I'm like, wait, I'm not ready. But I think with a child you have no choice.
No, you don't.
You have no choice.
No.
So having to like learn the quick changes and learn how to adapt very quickly and learn how to trust that I can change quickly with her. That's been a challenge for me.
And how do you persevere through that challenge, because I think you've persevered with every challenge as you continue to go. So
I mean, I think in the beginning, so I remember we had, so JoJo will be 7 months.
Yeah.
On the 28th.
I know, it's getting so big.
And at 4 months, we took her to Rochester. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have anything. I didn't have the nice chair. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the grabber. I didn't have, and it literally put me in a spiral. You can ask me I cried for days, and we were only there for a week. Yeah. Because I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I could do it, because he needed to help me with so much, because I didn't have the tools I have at home. Mm-hmm. But that taught me something, because I wondered why I was so anxious. I literally had a small panic attack. Mm-hmm. And my boyfriend was like, you have to breathe. It's going to be all right. Yeah. And I come home and I was like, God, but why? He was like, because you don't trust me. He was like, there's going to be millions of different settings that you will have to adapt with her, but you can do it. Yeah. And I think that week I got lost in my emotions. Yeah. But now, I feel it, but I remember that that there's always a way out. There's always it may be hard in the beginning, but hard doesn't mean it will stay hard. Yeah. Yeah. And I just have to be comfortable with the hard for a minute. Yeah.
The difficulty is temporary.
Yes, the difficulty is temporary.
It is. And you will get through it every step of the way. Yeah. What are you excited for?
Oh my gosh. Everything. How many pictures do I send you in a day?
Every day.
Every little thing. Every little thing I am excited for. Yeah. I look at her almost every day, and I get emotional. I'm trying not to cry, which, we've been on here for a while. I haven't cried. That's good. Yeah. Every day, I am, like, enamored. I'm so, like, baffled. That God, you've really given me this? Like, child, I know you loaned her to me, but, like, you really entrusted me with her. And I look at her, and I say, I can't believe that you belong to me. And her smile. And now she's getting a little person, like, every little thing, her little personality, her little temper tantrum, even though she's 7 months, like, everything I'm excited for, the smallest things. And I'm in a group, and I told the group the other day, I said, she makes me appreciate life, like the most simplest things. I think as adults, especially for me, I'm always used to being on the go, and she makes me doing this at 4, we're doing this at 5, we're doing that. But like, she forces me to slow down and appreciate the color of the floor. Yeah. Like, we started taking her out because the weather's nice, and she'll just be so amazed with a bird. Yeah. My dog, she thinks it's the funniest thing.
I know.
And she has taught me to slow down. She's taught me to appreciate every minute of the day. Yeah, the present. And what I am so excited for is the little person she will be. Is to watch her learn language and to speak her mind. I want her to be so, like, self-assured, so confident in herself. And I'm excited to see her grow in that. Because I said, God, whatever you have to do to make me strong, do it. Yeah. Hurt me. I don't care if it hurts. I don't care if it's hard. Do it so that I can pour that into her. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see her grow, and I'm excited to see her make friendships, right? And really love you and bond with you and everyone else. And I'm just excited to see that, because she's just such a loving person now. She is. And she's only 7 months. I'm amazed to see what will happen at 2 years old. How much she will love, and how much she will just be happy and have joy about life. I'm excited about that.
I'm very excited for her. She's, like, way beyond her years already, and like, showing so much personality. And I really think she's going to be, like, such a great person. Yeah. Because of the love that you guys pour into her, What do you think people see when they look at you being a mom? And what do you hope they will learn?
I mean, I hope they see strength. Yeah. But I hope they see real. I hope they see genuine. I hope they see the hard times. Yeah. I hope they see the tears. Yeah. I hope they see the worry. Yeah. And I hope they see me work through it. Yeah. I don't want to sit here and portray myself as perfect.
Yeah.
And that I get everything right, because that's not real. Mm-hmm. There are days that are hard.
Yeah.
There are days I make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm learning through them. And I want people to see the real.
Yeah.
I want people, I walk in the street with her and people are so amazed that, oh, how do you push your stroller? And I'm so glad that God has chosen to use me as like showing somebody that they're able to do it, right? Yeah. But they're able to do it. I'm able to do it because it's been hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? But I haven't stopped. I want them to see the real, the authentic. Yeah. The raw. Yeah. And I want them to see how I work through that. I hope that's what they see. No. I hope that's what they see. I don't really know what they see. I don't really go around. I'm just trying to learn. I'm trying to, get through it. Mm-hmm. So I never really asked people. Yeah. I never really asked you, like, what is your perception of it,
I definitely see the strength. I mean, I've always seen strength in you way before Charlene. I really feel like that's why, like, my stepmom connected us in the first place, because she sees that in you too. I see capability. I see motherhood being a very real thing for me, because I think, like, I've also always wanted to be a mother, but some way down the line, I kind of disconnected from that, because I started feeling like life was getting harder for me as I grew in the disability as an adult. And I was like, well, then I don't think this could be like a possibility or something that I could go through. And it just made me very doubtful. So then it was like, okay, like, maybe, like, let's not focus on that right now. And, like, let me show myself all the other things that I can do for myself. But I think that also came from a place of not feeling encouraged to be a mom, because I know that, like, being around my friends or my family, like, they can talk about being a parent, like, no problem, like, it's normal, right? But when it comes to me, I feel like people are very careful with their words. They're trying to make sure that, like, we'll find ways for you to be a comfortable parent, but maybe it's not a possibility for you. And so because it's automatically shut down in that way, I don't feel like it's acceptable for me at the time. But I think you've shown me so much more, and, like, so much more different, that I'm like, you know what, like, it is going to be hard, but this could be, like, for me too. And I want to raise a little me. I want to see what I could do, and, like, just bring life into this world. And I think that's what you've shown me, that it's just very possible. And I really do love you for that, because you don't have to talk to me in lessons. I just have to just watch you. Even when you don't know that you're teaching me every day. You're teaching me, like, what it's like to be around JoJo. And I think one of the many blessings in, like, doing that for me is making me her godmother. Like, that makes me so happy. Because, well, one, I feel very honored, because I've never been a godmother before. But it makes me, at first it made me very anxious, because it was like, usually godparents are supposed to, like, teach kids something or, like, add some type of value to something. I'm like, what do you think I can give her? Because I don't feel like I have much to give her, because I'm so confused right now. But I think it's just more about teaching her, like you said, that although there are these perfections that I want her to learn, that she sees the difficulty and she sees the life lessons in those difficulties, and I'm okay with that. Like, just knowing to be okay with that, just teaching her step by step, and it's really shown me that, like, I could do it too, So I really do thank you for that, because now it's like, now I got a little, like, child of my own. She really my baby. I always tell people, like, Charlene just did the hard work.
She's not my baby. I just had her.
But she's my child.
Yeah.
And it just really makes me feel so comforted in that. So thank you for trusting that I can pour into her. Thank you for just giving me the moment to have that with her, because I don't really think that there would be any other person that would do that for me. Not to say that I'm not trying to assume, but like people just don't make me feel comfortable in that. And it's still hard, even though like it's been 28 years of cerebral palsy. I think it's still very hard for people around me to help me see a life other than what I have right now. And so with you, I get to envision the future. With you, I get to see what's out there for me. And I'm like, I'm anxious, but I'm so excited. Like, I don't even care about like what other people think anymore. It's like, I just know what my life is gonna look like, and if you don't believe me, I'm gonna just show you.
Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way.
Yeah, and you always teach me that. You always teach me to show people, you know, because they're gonna doubt anyway. So, yes, that's I feel like that's what I've learned, and I'm just so happy for you.
Well, I'm glad. Picking godparents, I did not do easily.
I know.
Please
be very careful with godparents. Yes, I always say that.
Yes, you have to be careful. I just chose everyone.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be 7 months.
Yeah.
And to me, it was a big decision.
Yeah.
It was a big decision.
Yeah.
Because consistency in a child's life is one of the most important things.
Yeah.
And I needed people in her life. You know, I love her. Her father loves her.
Yeah.
Her grandmother loves, her cousins, But I needed people in her life that would be consistent.
Yeah.
But I wanted real people. I wanted people that did not portray a perfectionist life. I wanted people that have been through some crap.
Yeah.
And that have and that are learning from it and growing from it. Yeah. I wanted people, of course, that have a connection to God and a relationship with God, but not a perfect one. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted people that are willing to grow in God and learn in God and because if you're willing to do it, I know you can instill that in her.
Of course, yeah.
You know, so I wanted people that could grow with her.
Yeah.
And with spirituality, with life, with learning, with careers. Yeah. As you grow, I want you to grow with her. Yeah. Right. I want her to grow with you.
Yeah.
And I wanted people that were real and authentic with their emotions. And this is how I feel, and I don't want to dismiss it because I feel like the world. All we do now is, that doesn't matter. That anger, I'm not angry. What do you mean? I'm not. At the same time, they're like beating up people and cursing out people. You're not angry. Yeah. I wanted people that weren't afraid of their emotions. Yeah. That could feel it, but still push through it. Yeah. I wanted people that loved her. Yeah. In her short 7 months life. I wanted people that saw her. Yeah. And that spoke truth into her. Yeah. Right? This world, like you said, this world is so loud. Mm-hmm. People will doubt no matter what. Mm-hmm. She will have more challenges than me and you have had. Yeah. Yeah. Because the world is crazy. Mm-hmm. I wanted people that would pour into her on her great days and on her days where she makes some really bad mistakes. Yeah. I wanted people to see her. Yeah. Even when she's making really bad mistakes. I wanted people to accept her even when she's making a choice that we don't like. Yeah. And I wanted people to speak truth into her even when she doesn't believe in herself. Mm. And that's why I chose you and her other godparents.
Well, that's amazing. You're going to make me cry. But it's true. It's true. I think the consistency, like you said, is very important because you don't want people to like come in and out of her life, You want people that are there. And like godparents I know that they're appointed to be there when something happens to the parents if you guys cannot be there, but like it's true, they need to like learn family and how important it is to be around her all the time. And not just be there for like, Charlene really needs something, so like let me come by, or not to just be there for her birthdays or holidays, but to just be there in all ways, even if you're far and you can call her. That's important. Something that, she can call you for, that's important. And I just envision like when she's older and maybe she doesn't want to tell her mom certain things, she'll just call Auntie Therese.
It's going to happen, I know.
And then I'll just be like, okay, we're going to handle this. But No, I definitely understand, and I see that, and I hope that other people like understand that, like how important that is, because I know that there's a lot of people in my life that have godparents and they didn't show up in that way. So, yeah, I think it's very important, and I thank you for it.
You're welcome.
So I'm just gonna close it up, but I just wanted to ask you, what, like, I guess, like, what's next with you with being a mom, and like, what do you hope for? And what is like one lesson you could like give to the disability community and like being a mom?
Well, maybe I'll start with the lesson.
Okay.
The lesson I'm still learning is it is so important.
Yeah.
As a mother, even before, but as a mother, and let's talk about the journey I'm on, right? As a mother, to be confident in who you are and to find, whether it be God or whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
To find some peace and some groundedness and some security in who you are.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, people will always talk.
Yeah.
There are people in my life that love me, that you know, that. But because they're worried and they haven't seen it before, right? A lot of people in my life, very close people, they've never seen somebody with a disability, like every day raise a child.
Yeah.
So even when they don't want to worry, even when they want to trust in me, even when they want to believe in me, that worry comes through. And as a society, we struggle to manage our own emotions.
Yeah.
And they project it onto me even without knowing. They question me even without saying, could you really do it? They question me with an eye look or taking the baby when I didn't, an action. And so everyone will question. Even the person closest to you that you never thought would question will question, right? It's important for me to know who I am.
Yeah.
And to constantly grow in that, right? That's why I constantly go to church and try to stay as close to God as I can, because I need to know who I am. I need to be confident and grounded in who I am, because even my boyfriend will question. Not that he wants to, but he's human.
Yeah.
And he hasn't seen this before.
Exactly.
Right? So even the closest person will question. Even the closest person will unconsciously make you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So it's important to know who you are and be confident and to give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Right? Because the days I'm critical of myself and I beat myself up, it's hard to stand in who I am.
Yeah.
Right? So to give yourself some grace and to connect to God, whoever you call, to continue to know who you are.
Yeah.
And to be able to hear God's voice.
Yeah.
Constantly, and who remind you who you are. You need to know who you are, because the world will talk.
Yeah.
Your parents, they love you, but they will talk.
They will.
Your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your best friends, they will talk.
Yeah.
But you need to know. You need to let it bounce off of you.
Yeah.
Right? Don't be disrespectful. People care. My mom's been a mom for X amount of years. She cares. They will share, but you eat the meat, you throw away the bones. Yeah. Take what you need and let it bounce off what you don't.
Yeah.
That's the lesson I'm learning. Because if I stand in who I am every day, it's easier to get through the harder days. But if I sit there and I replay the weird looks I got at church, or the questioning I got from a friend or a cousin or a mom or dad, that's just going to tear me down. Yeah. And then JoJo don't know nothing about that.
No.
She looking at me to be strong and to get her that bottle and change that pamper and make her happy. She doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I have to filter that out. Yeah. And I have to flush that out.
Yeah.
Throw it away. If it's not true, throw it away. It doesn't matter who says it. Yeah. The question is it true? Yeah. And you base the truth off of the evidence you have and who God called you. If it doesn't match those things, you throw it away. Yeah. And you stand in who God called you. That's the lesson I'm learning. And what am I hopeful for? Well, in the next part of this journey, I'm just taking one day at a time and really just being present, because it goes so fast.
Yeah. It really
One
does.
minute she was 2 days old, and now she's almost 7 months. It goes so fast. I'm really hoping just to stay present with her and to enjoy every minute, whether it be hard, good, bad, every minute with her, because it goes so fast. I'm also hoping to find some balance between being an amazing mother, an amazing partner, but also remembering who I am as an individual. Like, I'm really working on that balance of, like, who am I as a friend? Who am I as a sister? Who am I as an employee or whatever? You know, it's harder when you're a parent, in my opinion, to, like, find that balance. You can get very lost in motherhood, because it becomes who you are. But I think at least I'm learning, it's so important not to forget the other parts of you, not to forget the best friend that I am, right? The daughter I am, the sister I am. You know, it's so important not to forget that, because if I'm not okay and if I'm not full, JoJo suffers. Whether she can feel it. She doesn't have to understand the words. So my hope is that God will help me find that balance, right? And not take one or the other identity I have for granted, you know, because I know if I'm full in every area, she will be full in every area. Sure. So that's my hope.
I love that answer. Thank you. All right. I mean, that's all the questions I really have for you.
Okay.
I'm just really excited for you. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
Okay.
Because I know that maybe there'll be some questions.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of questions.
There'll be a lot of questions. I think because this is the first time we're putting it on the podcast.
Yeah, nobody really knows.
No.
I would say one thing in terms of mental health, because you know we are mental health.
Yes.
Postpartum.
Yes.
It's a real thing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Some people experience it for a long time.
Yeah.
Some people have moments of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love my daughter. I would not change anything, but there are some hard days.
Yeah.
I would say it's very important to take care of yourself.
For sure.
In every area.
For sure.
Physically, spiritually, everything. But also mentally.
Yeah.
Check in with yourself about how you're feeling. And let people help you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard. Those nights where she wakes up every hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yes,
it's hard. And there are tears.
I know.
And it's hard. And you need people to help you take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So you can take care of your daughter, your son, your children. Yeah. So I just want to end with that.
No, that's very important. I forget at times, besides podcast hosts, we are therapists, so it is very important. But it's very true. I think I'm gonna share some resources in the description box about like postpartum things, because I know a lot of people look for that.
Yeah.
Especially like certain therapists who are going through it.
Yeah.
So I will definitely share those, and if you guys want a part 2, we could discuss more about that. Yeah. And you know, share some perspectives. Yeah. But Charlene, thank you for, like, I know this is your show too, but just thank you for like sharing your story, sharing your perspective, and sharing a little bit of JoJo with the Living Beyond Limits world. And yeah, we hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, and if you know, she's going to share some resources, we're going to share some resources. But I have been thinking about maybe starting a group.
Yes.
Maybe for people, mothers with disabilities. Maybe a virtual group for now, because in person is nearly impossible for me. But if that's something you would like, please message down below. Please send a direct message, a DM, a comment. And something, if it's something that's needed, something I will start.
No, for sure. We have an email. I always put in the description box. You could write us and let us know, like, you know, if you would like to. I think it'll be a great idea. So, all right. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Yes. Keep on living beyond limits. Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.